Yeah, how's it going, guys? It's Richard Unicorn Caller here, and I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. We are back with some stuff to talk about concerning obviously the Icar situation with the Wizard101 Darkmoor 2025 release. Kind of 1 month in the update, they decided to completely change the way how you gear craft for those specific gear pieces, and quite honestly, I usually don't let these things bother me, but this is one of the things where it's just like a complete rug pull. I have videos of myself farming the Ichor, so I don't want to see any comments be like, oh, well, why did you farm it, Richard? Because that's what I thought was needed to craft the gear. And so when you have situations like this, where they completely change the way you craft it, then, you know, I can understand everybody's frustration because I am also frustrated. So I wanted to go back in time a little bit to kind of the previous updates we've had over the course of obviously this game's lifetime, going all the way back to 2014 Wizard 101 Darkmoor. This was a really fun area. Pretty much, if you had Darkmoor gear, you pretty much just beat the game. And obviously, the stats were still, obviously can be improved on as of right now. I still see people to this day that are still running Darkmoor gear, and I don't blame them. Now, in terms of farming the gear, I honestly, personally think it was really easy to get the Darkmoor gear, especially since I believe it was school locked, the gear that you would only get. Most of the time nowadays, we just get robes and hats and boots for every other school besides your own. Personally, for me, I just think that Darkmoor gear was a little bit easier to get, not only the farm for, but a little bit, I would have to say, easy to craft. You do need some recipes here and there, but you really didn't need to craft any gear, if my memory serves me correctly. All you had to do was really farm the dungeon, and hopefully you got lucky. But for the most part, if you had Darkmoor gear, you didn't really need to farm for gear at all. Like, that was it. That was the prime time gear. Like, if you had Darkmoor gear, you were like one of the best wizards ever. Everybody would look at you and be like, "Whoa, how long did it take you to farm for that? That's so cool." Like, oh my gosh, I wish I had that. I love doing Darkmoor. I love doing the team ups for it. It's really fun. And I love helping out all the lower level wizards, kind of help them out, grind for the gear. And overall, the aesthetic of the gear in general is really cool. I will definitely say that the aesthetic for gear lately can be a little bit subjective nowadays, but in terms of stat wise, it was pretty decent. It could get you along a far way. And like I said, I still see people wearing this gear, so pretty cool stuff from that. So let's fast forward a little bit, a couple of years later, and then we have the Dragoon update, right? And this was also pretty cool, right? Dragoon in general was a little bit more grindy, right? And it was also considered side content. So you weren't really forced at all to actually go into, the Dragoon area or Wizard City Catacombs and complete it. It wasn't part of the mainline quest. So it was completely optional. So a lot of people probably haven't even still done it to this day because people just don't know about it, or they just may have messed up on it, or they just did anything else. And the gear for that was also pretty cool, and also had its own little gear crafter. Now, drop weight rise, little questionable, but this was pretty cool. So we're over here visiting my girl Zasha over here. She is in, I think, upper part. Are we in the upper part? Yeah, the catacombs in the middle area, and you can craft, whatever gear you want. It's up to you. You can do whatever you want. If you want to craft a hat, you could. It will basically give you some bonus gear stats as well, which is a system they don't actually use anymore for the gear. As a matter of fact, I kind of wish they would go back to using set bonuses, so you were actually encouraged to have more gear of the same quality and then you would get bonuses for it. And I'll show you on the screen right now. It was a really cool system, but I think they said that the person that did work on this, I guess they don't have the technology or resources to do it anymore. But yeah, as you can see, I have a 5-piece set, and you get bonus stats with it. You probably see people running around with Stompy, Bronto, pets, and mounts, because that was also another gear piece that had some gear set bonuses. But as we kind of go towards the future of Wizard101, we kind of slowly see that decline a little bit. So now we don't really see that many gears have set bonuses anymore, which really does suck. I would love to see some of the higher level gear get some gear set bonuses. Now, in terms of crafting, this was really accessible, at least in my opinion. Now, yeah, it was really grindy to get 300 alchemical extract or 50 alchemical salts or even 5 alchemical crystals, right? Some of the stuff could be subjective depending on how long you were playing. But if we go to the next page, we have 2 transmute recipes for all chemical crystals and all chemical salts, meaning that you can transmute whatever reagent you needed and basically craft the gear at a high rate efficiency, right? Pretty cool stuff. And you'll still see people farming, I think, abandoned house. Forgot which boss was there. It's like some trash boss or whatever. And especially during double reagents, this helped out a lot. And even myself included, I don't have the full Dragoon set just because I didn't really think there was a need to really craft the whole set. But when we go back in time and then we look about like what's happening right now, I look at this and I'm like, wow, a day 1 transmute recipe? That's awesome. Pretty cool stuff, right? It was accessible. So now let's go all the way forward in 2025. Now keep in mind, the Wizard City Underground update came out around 2019. So we're going to fast forward in time and show you what's been going on over time, in today's time, because quite honestly, it's not great. So this is a old picture of me. I'll move my fat face so you can see my other fat face in this screenshot of me doing the final crafting I needed to craft the hat. Now as you can see, it will take 60 relics and also 19 aged ichor and also 104 ichor, right? Now let's talk a little bit about ichor as I bring in my fat face. So the green ichor, which is the regular harvest that you get on the ground in Wizard City, or not Wizard City, but in the Darkmoor world, right? That's great. I can show you a demonstration right now because I want this video to be as concise as possible. And I really, really hope that the devs are listening to all of the feedback that the community is giving them, because it's silly updates like these that really make people not want to play the game. And that is bad. You don't want that to happen, right? So over here, I'm going to go to this awesome green spot. I'm going to pick up ichor, right? That's one of the reagents. I would be spending hours and hours running around the Outsiders camp if there's not a bot or whatever. I would swap realms, and if it was too crowded here, I would go to the Scholarmance, because that was another place that I could go to in order to get some ichor, right? And honestly, a lot of people did make comments like, oh, people complaining about the bots. I honestly didn't care about the bots. I just cared about the reagents that we needed to craft the gear. Now, let me go back to show you what the old recipe used to look like. This is what it used to look like. Now, you're probably wondering, well, Richard, we know how to get the green ichor, but how do you get the aged ichor? In order to get aged ichor, it was actually classified as a rare harvest. There was only about a 10% chance of actually getting it. So you can see people running around for hours and hours and hours picking up all this green ichor, and by that time I would imagine most people probably have thousands of ichor just trying to get some of the aged ichor. This is a bad gameplay design in my opinion, okay? I don't think that you should be putting a rare harvest in order to craft the gear. I personally do not think that is good. And if you are going to do that, I just think 19 is a little bit much. Another thing to consider about this as well before y'all go in the comments and go crazy is that they launched this without a transmute recipe. Keep in mind, I literally just showed you a 2019 update that had a transmute update. That had a transmute recipe, right? I literally just showed y'all that with the alchemical salts and the crystals. That was in 2019. We're in 2025, and you're telling me that we cannot have a transmute recipe day one. Do you guys know how embarrassing that is? Not just as a video game, but just as a company in general, that you guys can't do the most simplistic tasks, right? So fast forward a little bit in time, people are complaining. I'm personally still farming Ichor. And by the way, it was also noted that apparently we were going to get a transmute recipe in an early update. So like, alright, cool. We're going to get the transmute update. We're going to get the transmute recipe. Everything is going fine. The relics, on the other hand, were also pretty fairly easy to get. I would usually run the Heretical Academy Final Dungeon. Every run you would get at least 7 relics. So if you had like, you know, double, not double gardening, but double rewards for your reagents, like a crafting benefit elixir or a membership benefit, whatever it is, you would get double that. So it wasn't a hard farm, right? So I'm going to fast forward in time for y'all and show y'all what they did in the recent update, December 17th, right? So they just said, forget it. We're going to remove all Ichor from all the Darkmoor gear recipes. So I'm just sitting here like, I don't know if I should celebrate or be disappointed. I think I'm more disappointed because you're telling me that all that time I spent farming for this, just to craft this, all of that is just now thrown out the window. All of the elixir I used, right? The crafting benefit elixir that I used, all that just out the window, right? And I know what some of y'all are going to say, Richard, you can still use aged Ichor for some of the housing recipes. I don't care about no housing recipes. Nobody wants a craft, a trunk. Why would I farmed it specifically for the gear because that's what they advertised it at. That's what they advertised it at. Are you telling me that I should just look the other way and be like, okay, do whatever you want, KingsIsle. I don't care. I should just look away. No. We don't do that on this channel. And we most definitely don't do that with this game. When you do that to your community, that's terrible. That's a rug pull. So all that time, all that farming was for nothing. And guess what? They doubled the relic price. So now it's just the relics that you need. It's up to 120 relics just to craft one of the gear pieces. I can't make this up, guys. I can't make this up. And this is a developer note. It says that after reviewing the quote-unquote pity system, which, reminder, that if you had a problem with people botting, maybe you shouldn't, going forward, or at least at all, make a recipe based off of a rare harvest. A problem with KI is that they make so many problems and they never just take accountability for it. I'm telling you, dude, it is you're making this so difficult. You are making this extremely difficult. So I wouldn't blame players if they don't want to play the game anymore. Why would you even want to play after all of that hard work was for nothing? So anyway, going on to the pity system, we determined that Icar did not fit its intended purposes. Or its intended purpose. Yeah, I wonder why. I wonder why it didn't fit its intended purpose. I wonder why. How can we make this the most convoluted system known to mankind in 2025? Gee, I wonder. The system is designed to mitigate bad luck using resources obtained directly from bosses. Since Icar does not drop from combat, both Icar and Aged Icar have been removed from Darkmoor boss-related recipes, which is the gear. Dude, oh my goodness. This is so frustrating. And to top it all off, they added in the transmute recipe, which is funny enough because they literally had this developer note at the top of it, right? So now you give us the transmute recipe, but then you say, nah, we're just going to remove it from all the gear recipes. Then you double the outsider relic reagent for literally zero reason. You did that just to make sure people just keep playing more and more. That is terrible. They also just now finally updated the visuals. My bad. I just had a stutter moment. Oh my goodness. But they updated the visuals for the Icar. So now it actually looks visually like you can actually see it. Let me see if I can find another one out here. Look, they spawn great. They spawn rapidly, which is great. I love that. This is what it looks like now. You can actually see it. Usually it would just look like a green spot and you can barely see it. They also updated some of the other reagent visuals too. But it would be this, doing this for hours, running around for hours and hours, just trying to get the Aged Icar. And all the players wanted was a transmute recipe. That is all we ever wanted. You did not have to go out of your way and make this terrible. You did not have to do that. I don't know why you did that. I don't know why you sit down and think about this. But that's what I have to say. Amira is throwing a tantrum, so I'm going to give her my phone. Because honestly, here, you want to play baby first? Here, play baby first. I'm going to need KI to lock in. Going forward. Okay? If you want to change the way that, you know, gear crafting works, I'm fine with that. But you have to communicate. And I swear, KI has had this problem for a couple of years now. We don't communicate these changes, especially these drastic changes. You tell people that, okay, we're gonna add a transmute recipe eventually in one of our early future updates, right? You mention that to people, so of course people are going to go out of the way to farm Icar as much as they can so we can transmute the Icar into the Aged Icar so that we can craft the gear. Okay, it's bad enough that the gear is badge locked, which is another thing. I don't know why you guys are so obsessed with that. I don't know why. Why are you so obsessed with that? I don't get it. Going forward, don't do this. I mean, you can keep the badge lock stuff. I don't care. You're probably not even going to remove that to begin with. I don't care about that. But when you're doing the gear crafting, like, this is terrible. And by far, dude, I'm not gonna tell you, like, I was questing my 3 ult accounts, right? Quested them all the way up to Mushu. I completed Mushu. I still gotta start Dragonspire, but after this update had happened, I have lost so much, not only respect for the game developers or just the company in general, but I lost a lot of motivation to even continue playing the game because I spent so long farming Icar. And I didn't bot. I played fair and square. I have videos of myself running around in my spooky carnival clown car just picking up green Icar over and over and over and over again. Literally falling asleep. That's how boring it was. Dude, I can't tell you. Out of all the video games that make me fall asleep, Wizard101 is by far one of the games that makes me go to sleep so much. I know a lot of people are going to say, well, Richard, you shouldn't have farmed so early. I had to. the raiders down my neck be like, you gotta be at the stat caps. You gotta be at the stat caps, Richard, which is another problem y'all created again. Dude, we can go on and on. And if you think I'm just acting crazy by myself, I can show you the Discord update feedback channel. They literally had to put it in slow mode because there are so many people that are so pissed about this update. Here is a good one right here that we're going to read together. This person says, my personal gripe with this patch update is that you lied about your reasoning on the official website. On what pretense did you review the pity system and conclude that interactable world reagents isn't intended? You created a deliberate pattern for world gear crafting for the last 3 worlds. So why on earth are we changing it 1 month after Arc 5 is released? Question mark, question mark. Novus is currently 9 masterpiece of X item type plus X drop reagent plus X interactable reagent. The masterpieces are frankly the worst part, but as of last year, you allowed them to be auctionable, thus speeding up the grind considerably for 160. And finally, crafting ranks aren't required. The interactable reagent was polygons, which everyone realm hopped for. Wallaroo is the same, only without any lower tier gear, and now needs a pity badge after defeating X boss an X amount of times, Dreamstone being the interactable this time, which was also realm topped. Selenopolis is the exact same as Wallaroo, only with slightly more team-up friendly bosses, and now a rare reagent that had an existing transmute long before 170 was a thing. So why is it when Darkmoor initially has the same formula as Selenopolis, you wait until 1 month of Ickerbotting complaints to remove it entirely? Why is it only now that an interactable reagent has an unintended purpose for pity? Why was polygons intended? Why was Dreamstone intended? Why was parchment that made ancient scrolls via... What are you saying? Queens, you fool. Why was ancient scrolls via transmute intended when Darkmoor had no transmute on release until a month later? Why wasn't ectoplasma of all things a transmute for Icker, since you want to reuse old reagents? Interactable reagents never required combat and had an intentional purpose. Don't lie now and say otherwise. Be honest and admit it's an inconvenient for your pity system and farming models. Unless you want to double down and remove all those reagents I listed and more, old one artifacts and pretzels exist too. Or are they legacy so you ignore them? Literally. And that one is just one of the many comments that people have in this Discord. Everyone is airing out their frustrations about this update. And this all usually gets ignored. Well, I wouldn't say, I will say ignored, because if something doesn't happen, if something does not happen, then you're gonna lose a lot of players. And feel free to pause the video if you want to read each of these, because there is a lot. There's a lot, okay? I think I even see people from my server that are also talking about this too. So do whatever you want, guys, but I don't know. There was Shrunky. I saw Shrunky in there. I don't know. So that's why I don't really have the motivation to really play Wizard101 at the moment. I just feel like this was a complete rug pull for no reason. You had no reason to do this. Disheartening. I'm gutted. I'm gutted. I mean, I am so thankful. I crafted the hat and the boots. I don't need the robe. I don't care for the robe. I am so glad I crafted the hat, the boots, and then the ring, and then the Aethum. I am so glad I did all that. But dude, I think that this had to be a fun world, man. This was such a fun world. So to see something so silly make me dislike this entire thing overall, look at that. I just got aged thicker. Oh my god, I got age sticker. What am I gonna use it for? What do you want me to craft? You want me to craft one of these housing items? Cause that's all it's used for. Yeah, let me craft a Darkmoor campfire. Let me just craft that. I mean, if you're a housing decorator and you don't really care for gear farming, then you're gonna love this update regardless, because now you get to craft all this stuff. And there's some other, other, I think, housing vendors in the other area. But dude, I am just absolutely gutted. Absolutely gutted. Embarrassed to play Wizard101. And this is just on PC, man. I mean, console players, I don't know, man. I mean, it's bad enough console players are already being ignored because they don't get the whole 12 days of the spiral situation. So they don't get the free membership because they have a small server capacity, and it's a whole thing. It really is a headache playing this game. And I feel like this was such a great year. I mean, it still is a great year for Wizard101. They launched on consoles. We had the Aquila Challenge Mode update. That was really fun. We had this awesome world. And then you have this one silly patch that literally makes no sense whatsoever. But that's just me, y'all. That's just me. Alright, I'm gonna go spend time with the family and cool off. I would love to know your guys' thoughts about this whole thing. Do you not care? Like, does anybody care? Am I the only one that cares? In my opinion, I think going forward, for me personally, I don't think I want to spend a single cent on this game. I'm just going to wait till the free membership hits, right? I already have some areas unlocked, such as Darkmoor 2014, the good Darkmoor, right? The one with Malistaire in it. I love that dungeon. I already have that permanently unlocked, so I can just do that forever. But honestly, I think it's just best to wait. I'm just talking for myself. Y'all can do whatever y'all want. Y'all can throw as much cash as y'all want for this game. But for me personally, just gonna wait till the free membership, play the new content. I'm not even gonna farm for gear no more. It's not worth it. I'm so tired of this company not appreciating the player's time. That is the problem. For so long is the time. It gets so annoying every year. Every year. I gotta treat this game like Call of Duty. I gotta treat it like Call of Duty. It's just slop after slop every year. Is that what they want me to think? It's really depressing. It really is. But you have situations like this where it's like, wow, like, that sucks. So, that is all I have to say about all of this. That is all I have to say. I don't care anymore. I'm over it. I actually just want to log off. That's all I want to do right now is log off. I don't want to quest my wizards anymore. I'm exhausted. I'm done. I am done. Okay? Y'all have fun doing Heretical Academy, especially y'all storm wizards, yelling at everybody to spam feints. Y'all have fun with that. I'm done. Because that is a load of BS. That is just, that's terrible. I feel bad. And I'm one of the people. I feel bad for everybody else. This is just terrible. This is just terrible. I'm still reading the update feedback channel right now. People are still talking about it. Someone says KingsIsle always listening to feedback like a genie. Technically complaint while undermining the intent, leaving the end result misaligned with what players actually needed. Pretty much. Literally, I think there's two things you could do. If you want to get in the good graces of players, number two, just literally revert the recipe to what it was and then keep the transmute in. That is all we wanted, was a transmute recipe. Okay? You don't have to entirely just get rid of Ichor. It was an interesting concept. Was it terrible? Yeah. but you just needed to add a transmute. Just like Wizard City Catacombs. All y'all had to do was add a transmute. Y'all have till 2026 for the next big world update. Literally put that at the top of your agenda list. Add a transmute recipe. If you want to continue down this road of gear farming or gear crafting, whatever, just add a transmute. I promise, y'all will not go bankrupt for doing that. You guys will not go bankrupt for making the game accessible. I promise y'all won't. I feel like KI thinks that they can't do a lot of things. They think that, like, they're going to lose money. You're not going to lose money. You might even make money. Or at least gain a little bit of respect. But hey, that's up to y'all. Do whatever y'all want. I don't know y'all's philosophy in the office. But this is awful. People have a right to be upset. I'm upset. They're upset. Do whatever you want. I don't care. Done. Do whatever y'all want. I'm gonna cool off now. Peace out, y'all.